Good morning, everyone. This is Max, and I'm coming to you today from Lake Los Carneros in Santa Barbara, California. Today I want to talk about the differences between bird watching and birding. To a lot of people, they may sound like the same thing, but they're actually a little bit different. And there is overlap, and I just want to go over what these two terms mean. So let's get into it. So most people are familiar with bird watching, which is exactly what it sounds like. You know, you go, you find a bird, and then you watch and see what it does. And that's bird watching. You can have it where you see many different birds and what they do, or it could just be one bird and you watch that one bird and see what it does. But yeah, it's basically just observing the behaviors that a bird or many birds do out in the field. Birding, on the other hand, you know, you have to put a bit more commitment into it, because what birding is basically trying to identify all of the birds you see and see as many birds as you can. And in birding, there is bird watching involved. For example, you have to look for the birds to find them. And then when you do find them, you probably want to spend a little bit of time, appreciating them and, just seeing what they do. So bird watching is a part of birding, but birding requires a few things extra in addition to bird watching. For example, you have to know how to identify different species of birds. You have to know where to look for different species of birds. If you want to find a lot of species in one day, you generally have to go out and actually walk around or do something to cover a lot of ground in order to see multiple species and many individuals. So birding, basically, try and see as many birds as you can and identify them. Bird watching, just observing behavior. There is overlap with these two types of nature watching. So birding does involve bird watching. And then you can bird watch, but also know what you're watching, which is basically birding. So there is overlap, but there also are differences. For example, if you're just getting into wildlife watching, and this is a new thing for you, bird watching is what you want to start out with. For bird watching, you don't have to know every bird that lives in your area, or most birds, I should say, in order to enjoy the birds you're watching. You just have to know maybe a few. Whereas with birding, you need to know a lot of birds. Otherwise, it's going to be really frustrating, and you'll have to identify in the field, which usually, in order to identify in the field, you want to have a knowledge base in the back of your mind about what you've seen before, so that you don't have to look at your field guide for every single bird you see. Birding also takes more of a commitment of going to different locations in order to find the different birds. If you're looking for rare ones or migrants, you have to go at the right time of year. And if you're going for rare birds, you just have to spend a lot of time in the field to maybe, if you're lucky, see a bird that you want to see. So birding and bird watching are different, but there also is overlap. So I consider myself mostly a birder, because I go out and identify birds and try and see as much as I can. And in a few cases, I really want to see certain species, so I'll go look for those. But I am also a bird watcher. I do like to see what birds do. If there's interesting behavior that I see, especially with groups of birds that I'm really interested in, like birds of prey, I'll watch them for a longer period of time. So I do both, and I think most people do both, because there are great things about both type of wildlife watching. So that's going to wrap it up for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this kind of clarified the terms of bird watching and birding for you. And if you like this, give it a like, and subscribe to my channel if you want to see similar videos. And with that said, I will see you in the next video.